What's up, YouTube Video Nation world? It's your boy ProGamer36, and in this video we're gonna be reviewing Todd Phillips' masterpiece, Joquin. Now, I know this movie already came out almost a year ago by now already, but you know what they say, you never could tell how great a movie is until its impact that it has about a year it's been out for. But before we begin, this video is brought to you by Wix. Do you think Squarespace is a piece of shit? Try Wix! Wix, because you're worth it. Okay, before we begin, I just want to say that this video contains spoilings. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, where have you been the past year in the world? But seriously, if you haven't seen the movie yet, put pause on the video, go watch the entire movie, then come back and press play on the video. Okay, here we go. Before we begin, I feel like I need to address the elephant and get something off my chest. I'm talking about the controversy surrounding this movie. As many of you are aware by now already, there was a lot of controversy even before this movie came out about whether or not this movie should have came out. A lot of people were saying, it had the potentiality to incite violence, and all I have to say is that if you're one of those people who thinks that, you're a dipshit. I mean, are we still having this debate about video games and movies causing people to do bad things? What is this, the 1990s when people thought that playing Super Mario World would make people want to be plumbers? Sure, there have been a few times when people have been inspired by violent movies to commit violent crimes. I mean, there was that case when a young man stabbed his girlfriend after watching the movie Scream while wearing the ghost face mask. There were those several instances where couples kill other human beings after watching natural born killers, stating that the movie inspired them to kill other human beings. There was that time when some bombs were set off in New York by a guy inspired by the terrorist group in Fight Club. There's also early examples of young people raping and murdering other people while singing in the rain, or killing old people just like in A Clockwork Orange. And even a more recent example when some dude dressed as the Joker from the Dark Knight movie shot up a movie theater showing the sequel to that movie. But aside from those couple of times, it hasn't really happened that much. These are just exceptions to the rule. We need to stop blaming R and the artists for events like this ones. I honestly think trying to make content creators in positions of power to take a second to reflect how their content could potentially be misinterpreted is the worst thing since slavery. And I am so done with the argument, you guys. People need to stop even thinking about it even. Alright, now let me get off my box of soap and get to the actual review. Joquin was directed by Todd Phillips, who directed the Hangover films, which are great dramas that I also highly recommend. And he does it again here, you guys. We've seen a lot of Joquin interpretations on screen in the past, but this is the first one to get it right, to get it absolutely right. And most of it is thanks in part to the amazing performance by Joquin Feenix. You guys, Joaquin Phoenix is amazing in this movie. He plays Arthur Blake, who later became Joquin. And it's just fascinating to see his evolving throughout the film. At the first of the movie, he's really sad. He doesn't know what he's thinking about. I mean, we see this poor guy get beat up by really mean little kids. He lives with his mom in a shitty apartment, and his favorite show is the Joe Pesci show. He even finds out that his mom was a slut in the past and banged Bruce Wayne's dad, which leads him in a downward spiral that goes even more downward when he finds out that his mom apparently made up banging Bruce Wayne's dad and that she's just local for Choco Puffs, which I honestly didn't expect. But it helps explain how come he's local for Choco Puffs. That's one of the other reasons why this movie is so great. It does a really great job of portraying mental illness. I don't know if you knew this, but people with mental illness often inherit it from their parents. More importantly, they look really skinny, laugh fucking weird, and have terrible handwriting. Honestly, I was really surprised. I haven't seen such an authentic portrayal of mental illness like this since Ben Stiller in Tropic Thunder. Another thing I was surprised about was the romance in this movie. Joaquin Phoenix falls in love with the girl who lives in his apartment building house, played by Zaza Pachula. They have a great conversation in the elevator, and then he bangs her after he kills these guys in the subway. By the way, when he kills those guys in the subway, I go rock hard. Seriously, I think the next time I'm on the subway and some woman gets picked on by some obnoxious dudes, I think I'm gonna kill them and dance in a really dirty bathroom afterwards. Honestly, next time I see anyone in the subway, I'm just gonna kill them and then dance in the dirty bathroom by my own. But anyway, after he kills those pieces of shit, he goes to Zaza Pachula's apartment and bangs the shit out of her. Then they go out to lunch, she sees him do stand-up, she accompanies him at the hospital when his mom gets sick. But then when he visits her in her apartment one night, she acts super weird. Like, she doesn't even know who he is anymore. When I saw this movie the first time, I was like, wow, what a bitch. You guys banged after he murdered people and now you're acting like you never even met? I hope he murders you and your daughter. But after watching this movie 15 times and googling what's going on with Zaza Pachula's character in Joquin, I realized that it was all in his head. He was just imagining her to cope with his mental illness, which is something we've never seen before except in movies like Fight Club, American Psycho, King of Comedy, Taxi Driver, Shutter Island, Where the Wild Things Are, Psycho, Mr. Brooks. But this movie handles it better than all of those ones, and there's much more subtlety about it. That's what I love about this movie. It's really ambiguity. You never really know what's real and what's not real. The thing about this movie is, it's really challenging. It doesn't push any punches. It asks tough questions like, should we kill people if we don't like them? Am I bad for killing another human being? Is society to blame for the actions of a person who kills another human being? What is society? Who is society? How come Wyatt isn't society? This movie is so insightful and thoughtful and thought-provoking. I didn't grasp all of these concepts and themes the first time I saw it. It truly is one of those movies that rewards you every time you see it. And Google, what's this movie about? My only complaint is that this movie was too similar to other Martin Scorsese movies like Taxi Driver and Hugo. I mean, in both Hugo and Joquin, you follow a protagonist who longs for a father figure and really likes movies super hard, and at the end he runs away from the police because he does something bad. I mean, if you've ever seen Hugo, you could pretty much tell where this movie's going. So it doesn't really have originality going for it, but other than that, it's not just a great comic book adaptation movie, it's great as a movie on its own. I would really like to see more comic book adaptations like this ones. Movies that really take you on a journey with the character. Movies that really show you what makes a person become who they are. Movies where people start out one way and turn out another way by the end and change really super hard. I don't think we have enough movies where the main character changes drastically. Sure, we've seen it in movies like Casablanca, Godfather Part 1, Godfather Part 2, Star Wars, Tender Mercies, Goodfellas, Sideways, Michael Clayton, Malcolm X, The Chinese, Chandler's List, Wolf of Wall Street, and even TV shows like Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. But this movie does it way better and in a more salty way than all of those ones. And if you don't agree with me, then maybe you just don't get it. Alright guys, that's my review of Todd Phillips' Joquin. Really a masterpiece. We don't get movies like this ones very often. 10 out of 10. And remember, if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm ProGamer36, and I hope this video made you put on a happy face. I'm gonna go kill people now and dance my way down some really long flight of stairs.